Hey, back again with another episode of Letters from Players here. So first we got Steve Blass. He was a good major league pitcher. I think he pitched his whole career for the Pirates. And he won the World Series. I think he was the Game 7 winner of the World Series in 1971. And that's what that pitcher is. And I did ask him what his greatest moment was. And he said the photo below. So I do believe that was the 71 World Series 7th game. I could be wrong, but he did play a big part in that series. And I also asked him about the steroid issue. And I don't know if he still is, but he was a announcer for the Pittsburgh Pirates for several years. And he would have been announcing at that time. I doubt he wanted to make a comment about that. And then any regrets he had, he just wished that he would have pitched more years. And that probably has to do with he developed a lot of control issues. He got quite wild, and I don't know, he just had some self-doubt or something, and he couldn't find the plate at some point. He went through a really hard time. So that very well might have led to his being out of the majors. He said he didn't have any life regrets. So a lot of these guys will say that, but some will be very honest and say whether they did something they regretted. So we got Dick Bosman, another good pitcher. He led the league in a few times, and I believe he was up there in strikeouts. So he threw a no-hitter in 1974, so that was his greatest moment versus Oakland. He would have been a pitcher for the Rangers at the time. And so this is another steroid question. What should be done to the players and the records, and how long has this been going on? So he said the records should be erased, and he didn't know how long. The greatest player he played with and against, Frank Howard, which he was his teammate with the Rangers. Or no, the Senators. And then Rod Carew, he said, was one of the best player for the Twins. No regrets, he said. Or none that he cared to mention, actually. So that's kind of interesting. So next we got Hall of Famer. I like this response quite a bit. This is George Kell. He was voted in the Hall of Fame, I think around 84, mid-80s. He won the batting title in 1949. That was his greatest moment. Greatest piece of advice, he said. So he said as a young ball player, he was very nervous, and that his manager, the legendary Connie Mack, in Philadelphia, he played for the Philadelphia A's. He told him to relax and that he was going to be a good ball player. And then this is another steroid question. He said he really didn't want to get involved in something that he knew little about. But I do hope that for the sake of the game, they will conduct a full and thorough investigation on all aspects of what happened, I guess. A little bit hard to read. He was a great signer through the mail, and his signature did get pretty bad towards the end, so you can see it there, kind of shaky. That one's not so bad, but I was surprised that he actually took the time to respond to my questions when I got this one back, because it must have been difficult for him to write. Next we have a Notre Dame legend. This is Johnny Lattner. He won the Heisman Trophy. I'm pretty sure that was 1953. Greatest moment, he said, put it on a Notre Dame jersey in his sophomore year, starting on defense versus Indiana. So his greatest moment was his first time he started, I guess. I didn't know he was a defensive player. Well, a lot of guys played both ways back then. I don't know if it might have been more common in college for them to play both ways, but he was a halfback at Notre Dame. Best advice, try your hardest at practice and you'll always be ready. That's good advice. Greatest players he played with and against: Neil Warden, Joe Heap, and Ralph Guglielmi. I know I pronounced that wrong, but he was a quarterback at Notre Dame. These were all guys at Notre Dame, and I think they were all quarterbacks. Neil Warden was. I'm not sure about Joe Heap. So those were his teammates from 1951 to 53. And then, who are some of the players and teams you looked up to? He said Lou Gehrig, pretty cool answer, and the Yankees. And the last one I have, legendary WWF Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The greatest moment, or greatest match he ever had, he said it was a toss-up. The Randy Savage match he had in WrestleMania 3, and there was a recent documentary about Randy Savage I saw. I think it was on, I don't remember, it was on AMC or something like that, TLC or something, but it was a really interesting documentary about Randy Savage. He had a lot of personal demons, and they talked about this match quite a bit, that Randy Savage match versus Ricky the Dragon, and it was really interesting if you guys get a chance to see that. And then Ric Flair match, he won the world title in 1989. And then best piece of advice, probably a good piece of advice for all these guys: save your money. A lot of them have ended up kind of destitute. And then who had the most influence on your career? And that was Ric Flair. And at the bottom he put, thanks for being a fan, Ricky Steamboat. So this one's about from 10 years ago. Ricky's been a really good signer. I don't know if he still does, but he was always a real good signer and always seemed like a real good guy. So that's it for this episode. I'll be back with more. We're getting closer to 100 subscribers. So when we hit 100 subscribers, I'm going to have a little bigger contest. The first one at 50 subscribers, it was I had 2 giveaways. So I'll probably do 4 this time. And if you guys know anybody that might like this content, please let them know, and please subscribe. Like I said, comment, and I always read the comments. So thanks for watching.